Welcome to Daily News Nuggets. This is the news show that brings you the latest headlines that impact the Kid Broker's current and potential future stock. We're going to be talking about the Nintendo Switch, their online service, and the Nintendo Development Kit, and how third parties could be making games for the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Life posted a story. It's time to get your account user ID. Sign up for the online service, and that just went live, I believe, yesterday. I've signed up for it already. Nintendo's online service, there's not a whole lot that's known about it just yet. They've got some basic details on what you get with the service. It is a paid service. So if you go to Nintendo's website, paid service launching in the fall. Trial period starts when the Switch launches. This is what you get with the service. So you get the online gameplay. You get a monthly game download. Now, there's some talk that the game download won't stay, that it's going to be a Super Nintendo or Nintendo game that you can try for the month. When you use Xbox and Microsoft and Sony services, you get to keep the free game that you get. So hopefully Nintendo makes a change on that. And you get exclusive deals. So they're finally jumping into a paid subscription service, which is following suit with Microsoft and Sony. Nintendo, they've never done this. So they got a little backlash for it. As someone that's looking to get into Nintendo stock, it's definitely a good thing for their stock. It's a revenue stream that they didn't have before. So that paired with their smartphone app and their push into that marketplace with Super Mario Run, Pokemon Go, things like that, you're going to see some growth there. Now, the interesting thing with their online service is there's a smartphone app that's going to be paired along with it. The smartphone app is what's going to allow you to chat with people in-game. So the idea was Nintendo, if you're playing with your Switch portably, they didn't want you to have to carry around an extra headset. The idea is you've got your cell phone with you. You can chat through that while you play the games. As they roll out these apps that work with their online service, I think you could see some revenue generated through that, whether they have ads in the apps or they're paid for apps. These apps, a couple are going to be free. They might have some paid apps that give you interaction. That's just speculation. But any online service that they have that gets people paying for is just additional revenue for Nintendo. That's why I'm starting to get a little more bullish on the Nintendo stock itself, because they've got a lot of revenue streams that they've never done before. They're tapping into with DLC, with their online service. So that's their Nintendo online service. It's going to be coming, I think it's $30 per year. They'll be undercutting Microsoft and Sony. Cheaper service. We'll see what they offer. They're new to it, but Nintendo does very well. Our second story for today is development for the Nintendo Switch. The Wii U did not support the Unreal Engine, and that is huge. Developers use the Unreal Engine. A lot of third-party developers use the Unreal Engine. It's kind of an industry standard for if you're a small studio, this is what you use to develop on. So it's huge for Nintendo to get the Unreal Engine support. Nintendo themselves, they use Unity for their development, is one of their platforms that they have. I think opening up and letting developers use these standard tools is going to drive a lot more third-party games, and you're going to see a lot of support for the Switch that you didn't see with the Wii U. I'm going to pull up Project Octopath Traveler. This game was showcased on the Wii Switch launch. And let me turn the music off here. This is a perfect example of a game that is unique, and this is the type of game that I think as developers port games and make games for the Switch, these are the type of games that are going to drive sales. They're not the ultra realistic looking games.
What does it mean to play your...
Let me skip ahead so that you can see the art style of the game. It's kind of like the old 16-bit pixel art, done in a very different way.
The heroes whose life...
And yeah, it looks pretty cool. What it comes down to with games is it a good game to play? It doesn't always have to be the ultra realistic game to sell units and to drive hardware sales. So I think with games like that one from Square and what other third-party developers can do with it with the new engines that run on the Switch, I think you could see some unique games coming out for it. So in the past, they've been considered to be a pain to develop for Nintendo, and the development kits this time around are pretty cheap. They're $450 as compared to the Wii U was $5,000 and the PS4 $2,500 for that. So there is a push to get development out for the Nintendo Switch and to get it in the hands of third-party developers, small developers, and hopefully this will drive a lot more games for the Nintendo Switch. Like I said, it's the quality of the game. It's not the graphics necessarily that drive them. So I think small indie developers are going to be able to make a lot of unique games for the Switch that you can take on the go, and ultimately that's going to be good for Nintendo stock. So the kid brokers are big on Nintendo stock. I think you'll see them buying some in the very near future. Additional revenue streams through their online service, huge push for third-party development, are just going to be good things on Nintendo's stock. I think there's a safety net in the stock in that they have their cash hoard, a couple of $1 billion, no debt. And if they really get to the point where they're not selling hardware, all they have to do is develop games for the PlayStation or Xbox, and they'll sell millions of copies of their games. They're still one of the premier developers, and they make really unique games. They kind of put their Nintendo spin on the games. An example is Splatoon. I'm a big Call of Duty fan. I love their zombie mode, Treyarch, Black Ops. Very fun games to play online. Not particularly good online multiplayer. Pretty good at the zombie mode. But Splatoon, to me, it was actually more fun than Call of Duty in some cases. Certainly it was more fun than the latest Call of Duty. Nintendo, they kind of Mario Kart up the shooter in Splatoon. A lot of fun, and I think it'll just keep pushing developers like Treyarch to revamp and make their games even better as Nintendo makes headway into shooters and things like that. So hopefully it pushes everyone to innovate. So that's why the Kid Brokers are bullish on Nintendo. Those are today's stories. That's it for today's show. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. We welcome your feedback. You can tweet us at Kid Brokers or shoot us an email, dnn@kidbrokers.com. Be sure to subscribe so that you're the first to get the latest headlines. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.